Am I the jerk for saying I'll be driving myself and paying for my own room on the upcoming family vacation so I won't have to be a babysitter? I, 23M, was repeatedly stuck playing the part of helper and babysitter on family outings. I had to move out of my parents' house because I kept being forced to watch my 3 nephews. Last year, we took a family vacation in summer to the coast. I rode along with my parents and they paid for my hotel room. Only I had to share that room with 3 rowdy boys because my sister and her husband wanted a room to themselves. I was promised time to do my own things on the vacation, but instead I ended up having to help with these kids. I complained to everyone about it and was reminded I was there for free. And then we pretty much only did one thing that I wanted to do, which was tour an art gallery. I like doing this whenever I'm at the coast, but the kids find it boring. This year, my parents have a beach trip planned for June, and they assumed I'd be riding along the same way as last year, but I refused. I said I'd be driving myself and paying for my own hotel stay to have my own room. My parents were shocked and tried to remind me of the cost. I said it was no worry. I've got a good job and a decently running car. I can more than afford it. That's when the buts started. I stated the previously listed things as why I'll be driving myself and paying for myself. I want to be able to enjoy this vacation as an adult and not be treated like a child like last year. My parents told my sister and she called to blow up at me that I'll be ruining the vacation if I'm off doing my own thing while she has to wrangle her 3 boys. I ended up yelling at her that last year all she did was rope me into her mess. I didn't really get to do much of anything that I wanted to do, and I was treated like the bad guy for just wanting to go to an art gallery. I'm a grown man and I deserve my own vacation too. Now my sister is not speaking to me and my parents are still trying to convince me to just ride with them to keep the peace. I'm still refusing. But the pressure is getting to me. Am I the jerk for not giving in? I know they'll have a pretty hard time when they won't have another person there to help. They're your sister's kids, and I think your sister should be ready to take care of them. Now, that's not to say that she can't expect a little help from family every now and then, but she absolutely cannot expect a vacation to turn into you babysitting her children. That's ridiculous. As you said, you're an adult. Offering to pay your own way there and for your own stay in order to make the vacation more for you and just so you get a chance to relax sounds like a great solution to me. You are not the jerk. Am I the jerk for canceling the entire vacation when I found out my stepdaughters deliberately hid my daughter's passport to get her to stay home? I've been married to my wife Beth for 5 years. I have a biological daughter named Jessica, she's 18. And I also have 2 stepdaughters named Monica and Leah. They're 25 and 28. Both are single moms and live with us currently. There's been issues about my stepdaughters asking my daughter to babysit the kids. Jessica didn't have a problem with it at first, since this is what she does to earn money. But since her stepsisters don't pay her much, she'd just refuse to babysit. We worked this out by having my wife take care of paying for the babysitting. I planned a family vacation for 3 days and everyone wanted to go. However, both Monica and Leah suggested that Jessica stay home and watch the kids since Beth doesn't want her grandkids to come. They said it's because the kids are used to Jessica and hiring another babysitter would cause issues. And also said that Jessica isn't too fond of our destination, but it was obvious that Jessica did want to go. They insisted and Beth offered to pay her double, and there was just a lot of back and forth on this until I demanded they just stop bringing it up. We were supposed to go last week, but when everyone had bagged their bags and was time to go, Jessica found out that she didn't have her passport on her. We searched her bag, then went home and searched there. Beth and my stepdaughters kept insisting that we go back to the airport or else we'd miss our flight. They insisted that Jessica stay at home with the kids. They even told the new babysitter to go home because she was no longer needed. I refused to go and kept searching for their passport till Monica admitted that she helped Leah hide Jessica's passport to get her to stay home with the kids. I was livid. I tried to get her to tell me where it was, but she said Leah had it. Leah denied it, so I threatened to cancel the vacation, and that's when they gave it back. I decided to actually cancel the vacation and blew up at both of them and berated them. They stayed upstairs for a while and Beth refused to speak to me and said that I punished my stepdaughters for worrying about their kids and wanting them to stay with someone they know. I got told I overreacted and ruined the trip for everybody. Oh boy, I am worried for those kids for having mothers who act like children themselves. Absolutely unhinged behavior, honestly, to hide someone's passport so they would have to stay back and babysit your children. Just honestly unbelievable. And also the whole thing of like, oh, I want my children to stay with someone they know and not a babysitter. Like, I get it. But also, if you had a babysitter that you used more frequently instead of just, your step-sibling, maybe you would have a babysitter you trusted more. But I guess then you couldn't get away with paying them so little, or nothing because your mom pays them. Whatever, not the jerk at all. They absolutely needed to face some consequences. That's absurd behavior. Am I the jerk for returning a birthday present I got for my boyfriend after he insulted me for my colorful past? This happened last night, but my phone is still blowing up. I, F26, dipped into my savings and got Mike, my boyfriend, 27, a PS5 for his birthday yesterday. He knew he was getting the PS5 because he told me that the PS5 is the only thing he wants. We've been together for 4 years, so the cost didn't matter. That is, until I found out what he thinks about me. Some background: when I was 18, I was involved with Jake, a guy who I met online. We ended things after 3 months, and I moved on shortly after with Adam, a guy from work. I found out a couple of months later that Jake and Adam were actually really close friends, but I didn't know Jake long enough to meet his friend group, so I had no idea. After finding out, I took some time off dating, and 2 years later, I met my current boyfriend, Mike. I was upfront and honest with Mike about my past and the fact that I was unintentionally involved with friends. He said he understood and my past didn't bother him. Last night at his party, I showed up with the PS5 and him and his friends were screaming with joy. His best female friend, Jessica, laughed and said, "I wish I was a thought so I could afford a PS5 too." I looked at her with an "excuse me" look on my face, and she just said, "Never mind," and walked away. I confronted my boyfriend about it, and he said, and I quote, "She's just messing with you. You can't take a joke?" So I pushed further as to why this girl is even calling me names to begin with, and he said, "Well, everyone knows you were a thought before you met me." I asked him to explain how I was a thought before him, and he said, messing with best friends? He then pat me on the shoulder and said that it's okay because I'm not who I was back then, and if he could get over my colorful past and thought mentalities to give me a chance, then I could get over Jessica's comments and give her another chance. I didn't say anything. I just got up, took the PS5 from the gift table, and left. He was upset. He literally called me like 20 times, but I didn't care. I was so hurt that I took the bow off and took it straight back to the store I got it from. They happily refunded it. I thought that was done, but Mike and all his friends, including Jessica, are berating me for being petty, and they're all saying I brought this on myself by making poor choices. I responded to Mike and told him that he deserves better than me, so find someone who wasn't a thought, and get the PS5 from them because I returned it. He started screaming about how I'm the biggest jerk for returning it and how I should be happy he ignored my colorful past. I'm thinking that taking it back maybe went too far. Taking it back absolutely did not take things too far. The way he treated you for something that I don't even really personally understand why it's a problem, like, didn't you say you didn't know that they were friends? Was just absurd. Like, it's super unfair the way he reacted and the way he thinks that him and his friends get free range to berate you and belittle you for it. And then he acts like the bigger person for being like, "Oh, but I looked past it." Shut up, dude. You are not a gift to someone else. Yeah, not the jerk at all. Am I the jerk for disposing my pads in my boyfriend's bathroom? My boyfriend, 23M, and I, 18F, have been together for about 3 months now, and this is the first time I've spent the night over at his flat while I was on my period. Since yesterday, I've been changing my pads in his bathroom, and each time I wrapped the used pad in a plastic wrapper and put it in the trash can. The trash can has a lid and there's a plastic garbage bag in there, so the pad was touching nothing but the trash that was already inside. I genuinely didn't think it was a big deal, until my boyfriend took out the trash this morning and noticed the plastic wrappers in the bag. He knew they were the packaging for my pads because he had seen them before and was quite outraged. He asked whether my used pads were also in that bag. I told him yes, and he dropped the bag, calling me disgusting and telling me to take out the trash myself. I did, but then asked him where else I should have put them, and he told me I could have just kept them in my purse until I got home. I'm staying at his place for 3 nights because we both have some time off, and I wasn't going to keep my used pads in my bag for days on end. Imagine the smell. He stated that he didn't want my blood all over his trash and that I should find another way to dispose of my pads ASAP. I don't think my attempt of an explanation why period blood isn't as disgusting as he thinks got through to him, and he's quite set on his opinion. I think he was a bit childish because I don't understand how an adult straight man can be so disgusted by period blood. But when I texted my brother, 19M, about it, he sided with my boyfriend. As I've been outnumbered, I wanted to see whether other people also believe what I did was a jerk move. I get not appreciating other people's fluids, like in your area, but it is the trash can, my dude. What are you expecting her to do? Absolutely insane. It's like this 23-year-old man has never once even considered the fact that women have periods. It's nuts to me. If he had such a problem with it, he could have handled it in a more tactful way. And I'm not judging him for having a problem with it. For some people, it's just grosser than to others. I get it. But he made it seem like she had committed some giant sin and was a disgusting person. It doesn't make any sense to me. Not the jerk at all. Am I the jerk for embarrassing my cousin and getting us kicked out of a restaurant? I, F25, don't have kids yet. I never really wanted them growing up, but I figure I'll eventually have kids in the future once I get my life together. My cousin Sarah, 29, has 2 badly behaved kids from a previous relationship and a newborn baby with her boyfriend MJ, 40. Last night, my mother, sister, Sarah, and I went to a sushi restaurant, and this was my first time having sushi. After we ordered, I had a hard time using the chopsticks. My cousin started obnoxiously laughing. The waiter came over and asked me if I wanted training wheels, which is a little plastic item that attaches to the chopsticks and helps you hold them in place. My cousin laughed and said sorry about her. She constantly embarrasses herself and us. I just gave her the side eye and put the training wheels on. When it was time to order desserts, her boyfriend MJ finally joined us, claiming that he was busy. She went on to tell him how stupid and slow I was for not knowing how to use chopsticks and how the waiters and everyone around me now know that I'm an embarrassment. My mom asked her what her problem was, and she goes on a rant about how I'm so embarrassing, and how it's no wonder I'm jealous of her being a mother and no one wants to have kids with me. I finally had enough. I said, I don't have kids because I don't want them to come out like you're rude pieces of crap, and you're calling me an embarrassment? Didn't MJ just have a baby on you with his wife? Your baby literally has a sibling a week apart from her. You probably learned how to use chopsticks by eating his wife's leftovers. I guess when she was attacking me, it was fine because everyone turned on me. It got so loud that management had to get involved. Sarah was screaming and crying, MJ was yelling at me, and my mom and sister were berating me for being mean. Management brought the bill and told us to please pay it and leave. My mom paid the entire bill, but my sister says I'm a jerk for embarrassing Sarah and getting us kicked out, and how she's probably going through postpartum depression. Now, I don't know if I went too far, seeing as she's probably going through some post-baby stress. Am I the jerk? There's an edit that the OP posted that I'll get back to later, but for now, just on the first bit that we've read so far, I hate to say it, but kinda everyone sucks here, to be honest. With the things that you said, and I can only assume that OP actually said them because they were in quotes after all, they kinda went for the throat. You could have absolutely handled that better, and so could she have. Don't get me wrong. Laughing about someone not being able to use chopsticks is a really stupid way to laugh at them, and calling them an embarrassment in general is just insane. But also, the way that you reacted was pretty nuts. You attacked her kid, her husband's ex, you don't know the dynamics there. That was super uncool. Everyone sucks here. But now, onto the update. Edit. Thank you all for the overwhelming responses. I've been wanting to put Sarah in her place for a while now, and I'm glad I did. However, Sarah's mom got involved and is mad at me. Apparently, MJ told Sarah that him and his wife were separating. Sarah found out that he lied because she was secretly stalking his wife's Facebook page and got the shock of her life when wifey posted a newborn baby. And MJ was there for the birth. Sarah did the math and realized that he got both of them pregnant the week of his birthday. She confronted him and he confirmed it. He also told her that she'd have to get over it or he'll leave, so she stayed and is now in constant shambles. Not my problem. Now on to the actual problem. She kept the wife's baby a secret and only told her mom, who told my mom, who told my sister and I. So they said that they were upset because I wasn't supposed to repeat it, but I didn't know it was classified information. After a week, that's all everyone talked about. Sarah's mom, my aunt, reached out to me this morning and she said that Sarah's problem with me is that I always said I don't like kids and only a horrible person wouldn't like kids. And that I was mean to her about her kid 2 months ago. What happened 2 months ago was she wanted to go to a party with MJ and asked me to watch her kids. All 3 of them for free. I told her no because they're untrained. I don't feel comfortable watching a newborn and she'll have to pay me to put up with the other 2. So I guess that's why she's still holding grudges. Regardless, Sarah's mom said she was having a really hard time after finding out about the outside baby, who technically is the inside baby as Sarah's baby is the outside baby, but whatever. And she wants me to apologize for putting her business out there for everyone. She got my mom and sister involved, so I just called Sarah and apologized. She just said, I don't care what you have to say, and hung up. Regardless, I held up my end of the bargain. Hopefully this gets blown over soon because I am tired. That was a doozy of an edit that kind of told me nothing, to be completely honest. It doesn't change the situation other than the fact that I now think MJ sucks real bad. So once again, everyone sucks here. I still think that you went way too far when it came to clapping back at her, and I get it. It's satisfying, it's fun to think about. It's sometimes just not the right choice though. Did she deserve it? Yeah, kinda sounds like she did. but do you have to deliver it to her? Not really. If I had to put jerkiness on like a scale, OP is definitely the lowest of everyone here, except for maybe the mom, I guess. But yeah, I still think everyone sucks. Am I the jerk for not trying harder to let my ex know our son passed? Both myself, F, and my partner, M, were 28 when I found out I was pregnant, together for 4 years. Personally, I didn't want the child. My work was offering potential advances within my position, and I was excited for it. But after a lot of talking, we decided to go forward with it. When I was around 20 weeks, just after finding out the gender, he disappeared. I couldn't contact him, he wouldn't answer the phone or messages. I got worried and messaged his mother and found out he was living back with her and was overwhelmed with the situation. He kept paying his part of the bills over to my bank each month, but I received no contact. I even tried going over. Nothing. By about 27 weeks, I gave up trying and gave up crying, and just got on with what I thought was a future as a single mother. I bought everything needed over the next couple weeks and set it all up. At 31 weeks, I started having pains, but put it up to just being Braxton Hicks. Just before 32 weeks, my water went and I went into labor with the baby coming very quickly. I went straight to NICU. I messaged and rang my ex and his mother, but no response. Less than a week later, my son passed due to complications of early birth. I again tried to contact my ex and his mother, left voicemails and messages, but nothing. The next few weeks were a blur, but with the help of my mother and father, his funeral was arranged. They tried to contact ex and his mother also, but still nothing. I sent more messages, nothing. I'm assuming we're probably all blocked, but honestly, I don't care at that point. I was so broken. His funeral came and went. It was beautiful and horrible. I stopped messaging and told my family not to bother after the funeral had passed. I just couldn't deal with it anymore. About 5 months after his birth/death, my ex turned back up, and he let himself in. I wasn't at home, but when I got back, he was instantly hostile. The flat was clearly not set up for accommodating a small child. He demanded to see his son. I broke down and told him what happened. I have never seen him so sad and angry. He stormed out and slammed the door on his way out. Within half an hour, I got a nasty call from his mother, followed by messages from other siblings and family. How dare I not let them know something so serious? How could I hide something like that out of petty spite? I didn't. I tried, but I couldn't keep trying. It's been nearly 3 weeks now of them being awful. I was speaking to my sister this weekend and she said, to be fair, it was a bit of a D move to not keep trying. They deserve to know. Was it? I tried so hard to let him know, but I was also struggling so hard too. Like, I lost my son as well. Am I the jerk? Should I have done more? The second that man disappeared and ghosted you from everything, he lost every single right as a parent. Even if there wasn't a tragic accident and the baby survived, I don't think he has any kind of right to just come into the baby's life then either. He walked out because it was a stressful situation, and clearly he wanted to stay out until, I don't know, something changed his mind. Thing is, that's too little too late, buddy. Not the jerk. Am I the jerk for getting high so my relatives don't try and pawn their children on me? I live in British Columbia and my family often hosts at our home because we live on a lake. However, I always get roped into watching the kids, which means I don't get to enjoy my life when we have guests. My husband will drink beer with his brother and dad, and my mother-in-law and sister-in-law will go on winery visits, and I end up at the house responsible for my nieces and nephews. So last weekend, I made sure I was high as hell when they showed up. My husband and his brother had to watch the kids because I was in no condition to. Their mom is upset at me because she trusts me to make better choices. I told her that my free time is valuable and I wasn't free childcare. My husband had already had a few, so his brother had to stay sober. Poor baby. My husband thinks I should have tried talking to them again for the 50th time instead of getting high. I think they now know better than to not ask me if I even want to watch the kids. Man, from the title of this one, I 100% thought that this was an easy jerk. Easy jerk. But no, I guess. Like, it's all super fair stuff. If the family wasn't listening and the OP genuinely did try to tell them like a bunch of times that they didn't want to watch the kids, and then they took matters into their own hands, who can blame them, honestly? There's a lot of like pawned off babysitting in this one. Pretty much always not the jerk, as far as I can see. And it's not the jerk here as well.